I can't really remember how I got into the situation that I was in. I think I may have gotten in a fight with my, at that time, boyfriend. And so I was walking around in that neighborhood, and it was probably like 11 or 12 o'clock at night. I walked by this house, and there's a bunch of guys in front of the house, and they were like catcalling me and talking to me. And I said some mildly aggressive things to them. And I realized in that moment the type of situation that I was in. I never realized before then what it was like to really be out on the street. That was my first real experience being on the actual street. My mom was a single mom and she had me. I was the only biracial person in my family, and I didn't know my real father. It made it hard for me to not have a dad that I knew was my dad, and watching my sisters go with their dad and just having that void. I didn't know anything else besides my grandparents and the culture and the traditions and Native American church and going to ceremony and living on the reservation. We didn't have electricity, there was a lot of violence and hostility, and then the situations that I would put myself in as I was a teenager and the partying and blackout drunks and things you wake up to. In my 20s, I lost my sister, I lost my grandmother, and just never having the outlet. And being in trouble as a kid and going to juvenile prison. What really did it for me, I think, is when I caught the charges that I caught and walking across this field when I did one of my robberies, walking across the field and feeling that sense of like euphoria and like I just couldn't believe that this is where I was at. And then laying on the floorboard a month later of a car and just feeling like, what have I got myself into? It was my attorney who helped me see the light, helped me to really see my whole situation, because she wanted to help me. And I think that gave me hope. That gave me hope that things could be different. When I was in the halfway house and I was working at a phone room and someone called me like randomly and asked me if I was looking for a job. And I was like, well, yeah, I don't think I want to be doing this, selling magazines. I can't even remember what I was doing at the time. And so I got an interview and I went in and it was at a detox place. And I think it wasn't even then. I was just kind of like, I just suited up and showed up, right? Because that's what I was told to do. Suit up and show up, continue to do the next right thing. Miracles will happen, believe that they'll happen, all those things. So I used to wake up and tell myself that every day because, I just didn't know. I was so lost, And so, but my first night at the detox unit, it was crazy. Like, that's not even, I shouldn't even use that word, but that's exactly, it was just chaos. It was chaos. And people were coming in drunk and police were dropping people off and people, I had to go dress a naked person in the back of a van. And, the next day there was a guy high on PCP and he's, like creeping in and looking at me in the office. And then people are like meeting up and hooking up in the bathroom. And I remember my first week off that detox unit, and I walked out and I was like, this. I came to Sanctuary 3 years ago, Like, how can we bring true healing to people? Fast forward 3 years later, we have 4 residential treatment centers. We have an outpatient clinic. We have supportive housing. We've got the core program. We're working with ASU, to help women who are experiencing, or peoples, not just women, who are experiencing exploitation and trafficking. We have a different approach because I've been there, right? I know what worked for me. I saw what worked for them. The CEO knows what worked for him. We're developing these programs, and because we both have this lived experience, and we both want to serve and help others to get to where we are. And it's nice to conceptualize things and then be able to be in a position to put them into place. And working with staff and working with their passions and the things that they want to do, and being able to develop these programs and to actively help people.